The dealing with the people or dealing with the nature? Because I'm not worried about nature.
Then why are you making it more complicated than it needs to
be? On the time, speaking of scale, on the time scale of things, nature's fine. But in our lifetimes, that we could be experiencing so much more abundance and allowing more people to connect to that abundance and perspective that nature provides.
But what we're wanting to extract from you, the influence that we want to call you to, is we want the way you feel about the plants. You're solid in your knowledge of the intuitive knowing of the plants, but you don't feel that way about people. And so in the same way that the plant calls you to believing in it, we want the plant to call you toward believing in the people too. Because it's the people that are causing you the problem, not the plants. I mean, that's what this is all about for you. Nice of you to all sit in on all of this, but that's what it is all about. We're talking about some really basic things. We're talking about expansion. We're talking about influence. Law of attraction and influence turn out to be exactly the same subject. So that's why we wanted to start with you by getting you to acknowledge with us that a plant that knows that it's happy in a spot will influence you to understanding that. The plant is literally saying to you, I will teach you how I thrive. And if you will pay attention to how I thrive, then our relationship will be good because I will thrive as I'm interacting with you. People around you are wanting to say the same thing. I will teach you how I thrive. But you know what the people are doing that the plants aren't doing? The plant is teaching you how it thrives from its connection to source energy. Humans are trying to teach you how they thrive from their disconnection. I thrive when you do for me what I want you to do for me, even when you don't feel like it. I thrive when you suffer to help me. That's what a lot of humans would say. And so we want you to be like the plant. We want you to tune into who you are so that you can teach others how they thrive. You don't thrive by running over the top of people. You don't thrive by taking votes of how the most people are making the decision about things. You thrive one way and one way only. The only thriving that exists anywhere in this world, the only place that is helpful about and influential about thriving is your own vortex, your own inner being. That's where thriving is. And it is so natural. You have to practice so many screwy thoughts for so long to get crossways of your thriving, you see. And somehow the world that you've been observing, not just you, but almost everybody, that's why this conversation is so fantastic in an environment like this. Most of you have let others who aren't thriving dictate to you the way you should feel about them. Dictate to you what you should do for them in their not thriving. You got to get tuned in and follow your impulse. So if you were going to treat the humans in your experience, the clients or other workers who are working with you, or even people who are supervising you, if you were wanting to teach them thriving through the thriving of what you know, what do you know about a plant that you could impart to them? Just give us the basics.
I would literally grab a handful of compost and have them smell it. Which sounds crazy, but when you smell that, it smells like life.
We appreciate you staying with us. It will be worth it for you.
Sorry.
Let's go a little beyond the compost, even though it matters.
Yeah.
What do you know about the plant that you would like the human to know about himself?
That
I will thrive if you will stay out of my way. It's what?
The thing
what?
Okay, wait, my interpretation of that, I understand that, but what I was about to say...
And that's what the problem is. You think you are the one that's making the plant thrive.
No, that's not... What I was trying to say...
The plant will thrive if you will follow its instinctual, intuitive pattern or desire, yeah?
I understand, but the thing with nature is, that's true.
Now you're talking to us about what we really know.
I know, but that's true, but you don't have any such thing as a plant on its own. It's within an ecosystem. So I think people forget that, you know, a city doesn't stand on its own. It is within an ecosystem.
Did it co-create?
It is co-creation.
This in and of itself.
Of course.
But we're asking you to look at the plant like you would look at a person and know what the plant knows as compared to what the person knows. And the plant believes in its ecosystem, doesn't it? Doesn't it expect to thrive? And doesn't it do its best to thrive no matter where it is, no matter what? Does the plant ever say, this compost must go before I will even try to thrive? Or does it do its best to thrive right where it stands?
And if
does
it can't,
adapt
then,
to its ecosystem?
and if it can't,
does it
then it
adapt
transforms into something else.
Say again?
And if it can't, then it transforms into something that
Then
can.
it adapts.
Be it in that individual plant or that life force in another plant that will work
And you all
there.
are doing the same thing.
So you're saying I need to get out of the way of people so that, okay, I know this is one of those moments. I understand.
And start by believing as much in people as you do in the plant.
See, the thing is, I see that in people. Otherwise, I wouldn't try to convince them. But do you know what I mean? This connects to, the whole previous conversation is I'm able to be sensitive enough to see that wholeness of people, of an individual, and connect to that very, very strongly, very quickly, and give them that space to grow and be themselves and be their individuals and then interact with them and that
Well, that
co-creation.
certainly is the optimum desire. That is the goal. And when you are there, you feel the very best. But that is not the way you depicted yourself with them until just now. It may be the way you feel from time to time. It may be the way you want to feel. We're submitting that it's the way you want to always feel. We want you to feel the influence of Source, who knows well-being, and no matter what, continues to offer the vibration of well-being. And it is because of that continual stream of well-being that is radiating from the consciousness of all that is, that a plant can find its place and is able to adapt, because the plant is not so sophisticated that it knows all the reasons that it shouldn't try. So it always, always tries. Hear that? And when any part of humanity is acting like the plant, in that always willing to try, trusting in the knowledge of well-being, and not so ready to argue for limitations and to try to compete and to try to win the battle, but instead rooting only for well-being and continuation of being, then everybody lives happily ever after. Really good conversation. That's enough for now.
I have one more question.
Yeah, really good, really good. And everyone is appreciating the conversation. Yeah. It doesn't get any better than that. You now understand yourself because you understand plants.